I'm going to tell you a story that I heard on the news the other day, and it's been keeping me up overnight. Actually, I've been ruminating on it for a week. Now, if you've seen this video, um, I'm hoping that it doesn't figure anything off on you at all. But it's it's a true life story, but it has an amazing real life message in it for all of us. So, on was watching the Channel 9 news there maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I heard about a young family, husband and wife, three boys, travelling up and down the east coast of Australia. Now, on the news, all we heard was that a young man had been eaten by a crocodile. And I was grieved when I first heard of that, but I didn't know the details until maybe 1 or 2 days later. And the details were something along these lines. These guys were fairly remote. They were way up in the north of Queensland, and they were at a particular place, and the husband and wife were walking along the embankment of a river. And I'm guessing that from their perspective, they were looking down into the river and just enjoying the scenery. Perhaps they were looking for crocodiles. Perhaps they were looking for birds. Perhaps they were just wandering. Now, I don't know where the three boys were, but as they were walking along this embankment, the embankment gave way. And the husband, a young man, young enough, to be in his mid-30s, he slipped and fell down into the water. Now, I don't know the intricate details, but what I do know from the review from his wife was that she had tried to climb down there to help him to climb out of the water. Now, as I said, I don't know every single detail, but what I can tell you is that she said that her husband was a hero. And the reason why he was a hero is because as she extended her hand and he extended his to be pulled out, obviously the crocodile came in from behind. Now, I don't know how much time he had to think about that, but she said in the interview that he had decided to let go of her hand so that she didn't get pulled into the water as well, I imagine. And he was taken. I can't imagine what that was like for her. I can't imagine what that was like for him. Now, as tragic as this story is, she'd managed to climb back up the hill. 15 feet embankment, I guess. Luckily, the boys didn't see it. And I suppose she had to go through all the difficulties of trying to get help. Now, I'll leave the story there because it's unbelievably tragic. And I wondered whether I should put this actually as a story, because usually my stories are quite different. They're usually about me. But it made me think. It made me think that I don't know how that mother, that grieving widow now, and her family are to make their way through perhaps the darkest period of their life. I'm sure they're going to be asking questions like why, and perhaps those why questions won't have an answer. Probably more importantly is the question how. How am I going to get through this? Now, I don't know what's going on in your life. And perhaps at some point in your life, you may have felt the embankment of your life had given way and you'd fallen through to somewhere where you felt it was so dark, so depressing, that life was almost unimaginable to keep going. I don't know where you are in life, and I know there's a lot of people out there who are extremely, extremely depressed. A lot of people who feel as though that they're so deep down in a dark hole with thousands of thoughts whizzing around inside their heads. We try our best to build a life that's filled with some form of security. We're always imagining what we can do to secure our life. For some of us, we're trying to secure our life with finances. For some of us, we're trying to secure our lives with our health and fitness, hoping that we're going to live a very long and useful life. For many of us, we want to build a security around a family. We want to build our security around good friendships. But unfortunately, sometimes life can be cruel. Your security, the things that you were banking on, the things that made you think certain ways, who you are, what you believe. Sometimes when the embankment goes and you feel as though you slide all the way down to a place that's dangerous for you, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge. And maybe you don't have the energy to crawl out of that place where you're in, and maybe you don't even have a reason to do that. But I'm going to ask you just one simple question. What was it that you were hanging on to that kept you on this earth, that kept you hanging on? What is it? Family? Is it children? Is it grandchildren? Is it work? Is it God? What is it that you are hanging on to, that you can slowly hang on to and pull yourself up out of that place where you begin to see daylight again? You may not know it, but there are many, many people on your side, supporting you, encouraging you to climb up out of that place where you might have found yourself in. And maybe you had something to do with that, or maybe it was just something random. But only you can do it. Only you can do the work. Now, talking to people, there's lots of different people that you can talk to. There's psychiatrists, there's counselors, there's coaches like me. All you need to do, listen to me. Perhaps the first step is just, number one, I guess, ask for help and focus on what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life. Your life does not have to end. Your life could be filled with amazing things. All it needs, perhaps, is a new perspective on life, a new perspective on how to take the first step forward, not to overwhelm yourself, but just to take one small step or one rung at a time. There are lots of people in this world who are going through absolute chaos at the moment in their lives, but more importantly, inside their heads. I said to somebody the other day, and that person had just overcome a very dark place. And I said to that person, what's the picture that you hold in your mind constantly? What is it? And for most people who are in a very deep black hole, there's many, many pictures, but there's usually one. And I asked that person, would you swap it over? Would you change it for something like a picture that's really inspiring to you? Really something that you can feel and you can see, you can smell and you can taste it. What would that picture be for you? And that person began to formulate a picture out of that blackness. You know, there's an interesting proverb that says, you know, where there is no vision, the people perish, they die, they don't survive. If you are going through a really dark time at the moment, you need to find your survival picture, something that's going to motivate you to get up out of that place and move on. That's one thing that you can do. Create a picture, a vision for you outside of that black hole and ruminate on that. That's something that you can imagine. You can activate your imagination to do that. Going back to the original story, that family and the ripple effect that's going to have throughout that family and the extended family and the community. I am sure that that community will come in around that mother, that widow, those 3 beautiful children, and the parents of that young man, the parents of the widow, the wife, the mother. Those people will love on them and support them, and in time, they'll get through it. And I want to remind you that you have people in your life. You have a family. You have friends. You have a community. You might say, no, I don't have anybody. Wrong thinking. And if you don't find somebody, life is precious. You're a long, long, long time dead. Start at the beginning. Ask for help. Look to see who's there to help you up out of your embankment, to get up out of your dark hole, and make a decision, a choice to live. If you're struggling, give me a call. Give me a call. I'm here to support you. It's a bit of a different story today. I don't usually tell these sorts of stories, but I feel in my heart how important this is for me to share with you. Okay, that's it for now.